Crisis on Infinite Earths blew my mind. What's up, YouTubers of the world? MegaGeekMixer here to give you guys my review on part 1, or better yet, the first half of Crisis on Infinite Earths. Instead of doing separate episode reviews, I decided to watch all 3 at the same time and then give you my thoughts on the first half of it as we make our way into the second half coming in January 14th. And all I'll just say is, the first half was awesome, had me at the edge of my seat, especially on Episode 3. Episode 3 had really awesome moments between Batwoman and Supergirl and Black Lightning and The Flash. And I will be sure to save those for later. But let's go ahead and let's get into some of the bigger details of the Crisis. First off, the cameos were great. The cameos of some of our fan favorite actors out there who played their roles returned for a brief cameo, and it was great to see them all. I especially loved the one where we got to see Ashley Scott back as Huntress just for an instance, back from the early Birds of Prey TV series in the early 2000s. But the biggest shock of them all had to be Tom Ellis as Lucifer, who made a quick, brief cameo crossover into the biggest crossover event for the CW on the DC side of things. And why was he in this? Well, because for one, John Constantine, along with everyone else, was trying to resurrect Arrow. Yes, Green Arrow, Oliver Queen. He died earlier than expected in this crossover. He actually died in part 1, and we all were thinking he would die in part 4 or 5. But I'm actually glad they did this, because when I saw that, I was shocked. I was like, then what else is he gonna play? Still, we still have his episode from his series that is to be a crossover, so he still had to play more, and it turns out he does. When they tried to resurrect him with the Lazarus Pit and then try to find his soul, we found out Oliver has a new role, a new destiny. It looks now like he is going to become the Spectrum, because when they were about to get his soul, does the Spectrum show up? And not only that, it's like he's passing on the torch. And here's the funny thing, Oliver already passed on the torch to his daughter to become the next Green Arrow, and a great moment of sight to see those two fighting beside each other in their costumes. But now to find out that Oliver will be the Spectrum makes you wonder what's the next big role he plays in the final act of the last 2 episodes for the Crisis on Infinite Earth. Because guys, if you know your comics from the comic side of this crossover, you know the Spectrum played a major role at the end that was like one of the pivotal points that ended the storyline. So I cannot wait to see what Oliver's going to be doing here in his new role as the Spectrum for not just the crossover, but for the last few episodes for his final season going forward. It promises to be amazing. But what else did I like about this episode, or for that matter the entire first 3 episodes? Well, for one, Easter egg callbacks to the original comic. First off, in how the Monitor introduced how the multi-worlds were born, and then you got those towers that were being protected by the heroes from the shadows, which, by the way, love those designs. They looked amazing, true horror style, like almost could be part of Supernatural or Riverdale there. But definitely the ghost busting those superheroes were doing against them was definitely something to see. But what I definitely loved was how everyone was getting so desperate and in anxiety, wanting to save the multiverse and their worlds, because the fact that every world was vanishing, people were just in panic mode, not thinking rashly or what to do. Definitely from Supergirl, because Supergirl, man, she did not like that she couldn't save her world. She almost went to actually trying to use the Book of Destiny that makes a return in this crossover. Luckily though, Batwoman was there to stop her, and let me just say, seeing those two together and how their bond has deepened is definitely having me looking forward to the next crossovers those two will have, because I'm definitely guessing that's what's going to happen. Batwoman and Supergirl, the Arrow versus World Finest, yeah, I can definitely see more crossovers between these two and solving cases together, because we were teased of that back in Elseworld. But this crossover crisis, it's definitely signifying their friendship, because for one, Batwoman was about to give her the kryptonite, just like Batman was about to give Superman the kryptonite once before. And yet, what do the two Kryptonians do? They let them keep it. That signified it right there. So, definitely can't wait to see what more we get from those two. But then, let's also go into other stuff, such as Lex Luthor, who in his greediness, like all other villains out there, tries to do his own things during this whole crisis, his own selfish thing, and that is try to kill every reality Superman out there. But that ended up giving us cameos of other famous actors who played the roles, such as Smallville Superman and Smallville Lois Lane, along with him actually making Kingdom Come Superman fight the Arrowverse's Superman, which was a good Easter egg callback to Elseworld right there. But what's even more so was how the Lex took Superman's spot as one of the 7 Purgatory to face down the Anti-Monitor, who, by the way, we meet in episode 2, and I love the guy's design, and I loved how he was playing his roles in the entire crisis. But, as for Lex Luthor, the seven purgatories are supposed to be people who represent something about humanity, and Superman was supposed to be, what was that, I think, of truth, but now Lex Luthor rewrote it thanks to the Book of Destiny by making him be the truth, and makes you wonder how will this affect them going forward as they face the Monitor coming in the final part of part 2 in July 14th. No doubt, Lex Luthor's probably thinking of wanting to take the Anti-Monitor's power so he could become a god. Because as you all know, he's always been envious Superman and having all that power. That's one of the reasons, along with his prejudice for aliens. But speaking of which, how about we now go into other prejudiced people, such as Kevin Conroy's Batman Kingdom Come. Yes, in this one, Kevin Conroy, first off, great to finally see him in an actual live-action role as Batman. Even if we didn't get to see him in the suit, it was still great to see him. Even if he was a bad Batman, he was still nailing the part in his acting, showing that Kevin Conroy was happy to finally have this live-action role. Even if it was for a short time, he wanted to nail it, and he nailed it greatly. I love that interaction he and Kate Kane were having, and that confrontation when she saw that Bruce Wayne didn't have any more hope or courage. He was just a lost cause. But still, the way it was shown was truly signifying, and gave the push that Batwoman needed going forward for not just her series, but in helping out with this crisis. Because she's also one of the Purgatory. She's the Purgatory of Courage. Supergirl, the Purgatory of Hope. White Canary, Purgatory of Destiny. Martian Manhunter, Honor. Who else is there? Oh yeah, a new character. Ryan Troy. Yes, guys, Ryan Troy. If you guys don't know who that is the second person to take over the mantle of Adam, right after Ray Palmer. In the comics, he's an apprentice of Ray Palmer, but here, he's just a regular human who works at Ivy's University and is just a fan of Ray Palmer. I can't wait to see how he'll play a role in this going forward when they take on the Anti-Monitor. It promises to be very interesting. But I'm rambling on here that I haven't even gotten to the death of the Flash, which was a very interesting twist right there. Because here's the thing, everything that the Monitor's always saying is usually in broken riddles that people kind of don't understand what he's saying. But when it's finally happened, do they finally try to get it? Because usually they think in a more worser way than what he's saying. Not that that's to blame him. Because like I said, broken riddles. But finally, when it came to the look like it was time for our Barry, Arrowverse Barry, to die, no, it turns out it was the 90s Flash Barry who made a cameo in Elseworld return, and he was part of the problem that was causing anti-wave matter to destroy all multiverses. He was captured and put on a cosmic treadmill. That cosmic treadmill just seems to have a curse of badness wherever it goes. Flashpoint, now this, yikes. But, just like in the comics, the 90s Flash the 90s Flash did what Barry in the comics did. He ran the cosmic treadmill in reverse and in the end vanished. But here's the cool taker from it. Before doing that, they needed help to contain it. So they needed to call upon an ally they've never met, that being...
Where am I?
Who are you?
Send me back to Freeland, now!
Calm down, electric guy.
The name is Black Lightning.
You guessed it, guys. Black Lightning had arrived. All thanks to what's that guy's name? Pariah, who was played by Tom Canavan. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name there, man, but you know who I'm talking about. He's the one in the comics who's the one who released the Anti-Monitor, just like in the TV series, and is just to bear witness to tragedy. But he still had free will to move around and do some things. And one of them was getting Jefferson over to the Arrowverse and help them contain the energy, while Barry Allen of Flash 90 made that sacrifice. And when he made that sacrifice, it is great they gave us a little flashback to him and Tina and the relationship they had, the closure of a relationship they had. We found out that they got married and lived a happy life. So yes, it was great that we got that as he vanished. But I think my best scene of all had to come, as I said earlier in my review, Black Lightning and Barry Allen, Arrow versus Barry Allen, the Flash, having that moment where they talked about their fathers and how they're the heroes they are because of their fathers and how they're not going to give up. That was the best part of the episode of them all, or better yet, the best scene out of all 3 episodes, guys. I'm not gonna lie. And this makes me hope to see that Black Lightning can now take Oliver's spot and being a new, closer friend to Barry. In other words, those two have some crossovers and where they're helping each other out, and they learn and grow a powerful bond together, just like Oliver and Barry did. And it was truly sad to see how Oliver and Barry had to go out saying goodbye like that. But still, it did have its good moments. And the Crisis has been amazing. But finally, let's go into the Anti-Monitor. And yeah, just like in the comics, he doesn't really appear, but just that one scene in episode 2 when he stole Harbinger away and took her captive, and then he gained control of her and her body and to finally attack all the heroes and try to defeat the 7 purgatories. But thanks to Pariah, that didn't happen. But he did get his chance to take on his opposite, that being the Monitor. Too bad we didn't exactly see him do it in his actual form. He was inside Harbinger when he did that. Because it really does suck. I really wanted to see Monitor and Anti-Monitor duke it out for a bit. But hey, it's okay. What we still got was good enough for me, because going forward, as the now 7 purgatories are now in a safe spot to take on the Anti-Monitor for the final battle, makes you just want to see the second half of Crisis on Infinite Earth already, and boy, I can't wait to see it. But until then, guys, why don't I leave it all at that? I could go on for so many other things, but I'd rather leave it like that and just maybe make some episodes, make some more videos that are like tie-ins to it. Because I still need to make my Black Lightning video here. That's that tie-in episode to Crisis. But until then, guys, hey, if you're enjoying my videos, all you gotta do is click that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to be notified when I make more videos. And until then, MegaGeekMixer signing out. Bye!